I'm not afraid to let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Yeah, Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er mind.
Oh yeah, freak out. Yeah, I'm looking right into the video scope, And this is Macho Man, #1 Macho Man impersonator, past, present, future, yeah. And I'm here to tell you, you are watching 49er Minded with Bashar. Yeah, the cream of the crop. Dig it?
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of 49er Minded. The 49ers came out on top against the Minnesota Vikings, 34-26. Today I have a very special guest, good buddy of mine. His name is Waruna Pereira. He's a writer for Sports Illustrated, All 49ers SI. And for those of you guys that don't know who he is, he basically got his start with being just a regular caller on the Grant Cohn Show. And further ahead, Grant Cohn gave him a little spot to be a writer for All 49ers SI. So his story is very interesting. I'm going to bring him on right now. How you doing, Waruna? How's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. Another 49er win. They couldn't get any better.
Exactly. Hey, before we get started, I just want to say what's up to a couple of people in chat. We got Warowski. He's a 49er YouTuber. He doesn't make videos anymore, but he's got a lot of fun stuff back when he was making videos, without a doubt. Really big-time diehard fan. We got Kenny all the way up in Oregon, says, yo, what's good, Niner fam? And I guess people are kind of late to the party, or maybe they're just tired. It's kind of a little bit of a later show tonight on an 8:30 p.m. Sunday night show, but it's okay, you know. Whenever it's the right time, whenever it's good to talk Niners, it's always the right time for me. So we obviously won today. We're going to get into the game, but I also wanted people to get to know my guests, because here at 49er Minded, we get into the minds of 49er fans. So, Waruna, when did you first come to this country? How long ago?
2016, so it's almost, past 5 years.
Okay, and which country did you come from exactly?
Sri Lanka.
Okay,
it's a small island beneath India.
Yeah, so exactly. So those who don't know Sri Lanka, it's a little tiny island right below India, but he's not Indian. He doesn't even speak Hindi. He doesn't even speak their language. So,
Yes.
But how did you get introduced to the game of football or the 49ers? How did that happen?
What actually happened is, now when I was coming from Sri Lanka, our religion was cricket. Then I followed a lot of rugby. I'm a mad rugby fan. Then I played field hockey. So these were like 3 games that were familiar to me. Then I came over here. I was culturally lost because I didn't have anything to connect with people. The only thing, for example, even at work, if you meet a guy who was born and raised here, the things I would use to talk with them is like, hey, the weather today is good, right? It's cold, it's either hot. It's just 2 sentence worth of conversation, nothing else. I don't know anything about it. And so other thing I knew about is the politics, but it gets boring along the way. If the other person does not want to talk about politics, then there is no conversation again. So I was just trying to find out, okay, something that I should do. So probably in the latter part of 2018, I just checked out few 49 games, but at the time I didn't know the game. For example, I watched many movies, football movies, in the sense, Remember the Titans, Greater, what are the other movies, like Rudy. I love
Rudy, that's
these
a great
movies,
movie.
but Yes, but I didn't know the basics of football. Even I didn't know that what does mean first and 10, second and 5. I don't know anything about football. So I didn't know anything about football. Then I think even in 2018, 49ers did not do well. So I was just watching these freely available highlights on YouTube. Did not make any sense to me. But in 2019, when the season started, at the same time, my wife started to go for it. She started to study on a course because she wanted to pursue a career over here, find some job. So she said, okay, I need to learn something to work over here. So fine. So she was her classes were either on Saturdays or Sundays. So she was out. I was with my kid. My kid was going to play with my neighbor's daughter and her. She was at the same. I mean, they were same age, so they were playing all day, and I was left alone at home, having nothing to do. So I just switched on the TV, watched a one game or two, and I started to understand the game. Oh, I'm like, okay, I get what they are trying to do. Or maybe, oh, I know the basics of the game. So a season went along and it was a great season for 49ers. Then I started to realize, okay, this is an interesting game. Then I started to read about the game. The books like Gunslinger, Brett Favre's autobiography, the 150, 100 years of history of NFL as a league, things like that. Then reading about Steve Young, Bill Belichick. So it got me more involved into the game, and finally I'm here.
So when you were watching football and you didn't know what was going on, but you were just sitting and watching every season gradually, what stopped you from clicking onto a Raider game as opposed to clicking on a 49er game? Was there anything that made a difference for you in that regard? Because I believe you live in Northern California, right?
Yes. So initially, when I came here, I lived in Sunnyvale, then Santa Clara. My office was in Mountain View. So the Levi's Stadium was like 10-15 minutes away from me. So I was like, in my office, there were people who did not support Warriors, who live around the area. I was like, you guys are traitors. You are supposed to be Warrior fans because Warriors are winning. Some they have different arguments like Warriors are not winning the right way. They are playing boring basketball and stuff. I'm not a basketball fan, but I'm like, okay, if you live here, you have to support Warriors. So that was my main logic. So if you live in Santa Clara or surrounding area, you have to support 49ers. So otherwise, you are just a traitor. That's it for me. So that's how I became a 49er fan.
Now it makes even more sense because I didn't know that you were actually working on this South Bay. So so you started watching football, but like, did it take you like 2 years to sit down and say, "Hey, I know what a first down is. I know what it means when they punt the ball." Like, at what point of your football experience, as far as watching as a fan, did you say, "Hey, like I'm truly comfortable understanding this game now"? Did it take 3 years, 2 years of watching?
The basic parts, I think I was able to understand things probably within 2 to 3 games. But at that time, for example, the best example is when we played the Super Bowl. I understood why John Lynch was signaling that, okay, take the timeouts, Kyle, during the first half. I understood the reason behind that. But I did not understand why Richard Sherman got beaten. Because that time, to me, like Richard Sherman was the best cornerback in the football, to my knowledge, because, oh, he's this guy. We have Richard Sherman. So he was like,
He was
my
the best
hero.
up until when we got him.
Yeah. So I didn't understand the complexities. For example, I didn't know if someone said like, okay, what kind of a defensive scheme they are running, whether it's cover 2, cover 3 or something. No, I have no clue. And sometimes people would come up and say, it's a jet sweep. I'm like, what the hell is jet sweep?
You know what though, with
So
football, the terminology is very fluid. Because people weren't saying jet sweep when I was first watching football. People would just say it's a reverse to the wide receiver, or they would just call it that. So the terminology always changes in football. It'll be the same play and same type of scheme, but they'll just call it something else. And I was gonna say,
yeah.
like, it's funny because, like, to people who never watched football before, or they're just learning to start football. Not that everybody plays video games, but I'd just suggest them, hey, if you want to understand the game of football, just play Madden, play a game of Madden, because when you play Madden, you'll select all the defenses and it lists all the defenses and it has the map on the screen of where the players are lined up for that defense. So football, I mean, I wouldn't expect the average immigrant to come here and grasp the game of football in 2 or 3 years, because it just, when you first watch it, it looks kind of intimidating. People are running around all over the place. You have no idea what's going on. And it's funny that you mentioned cricket. Like when you came here, you said you were a big cricket fan growing up, but like if you tell the average person living in this country about cricket, they just think you're talking about insects or something. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know what cricket is. Let me just I'm gonna ask you a few more personal fan questions, and we'll definitely start talking about the Vikings game without a doubt. Just want to say what's up to a couple of people. We got David McNew in the chat, says it's Niners all day. What's up, man? And Kenny says we should have D4 back next week. Yeah, they supposedly we're gonna activate him today or something, and then I don't know. I didn't see him out there. And ironically, prior to this week, I thought D4 was pretty much done, because I remember they put him on injured reserve or something. So I just thought he was done, and now they're talking about bringing him, getting him suited up to play in the games again. So I'm like, okay, we'll see how that works out. We got the platform with Lawrence Jackson. How's it going, buddy? He says, Niner Gang. We got Diehard 49ers fan for life, or Diehard 49ers for life. Says, hey, back to you. So, yeah, man. No, the game of football, like even when I was a kid, when I first started watching, because, my parents weren't from this country. I'm a first generation immigrant. A lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but I am. But when I was here, I got here at a young age. But even when I came here, when I first started watching football, I didn't get the hang of it right away, but I was playing Tecmo Bowl, and, the more and more you watch, the more and more you get accustomed to it. And then all of a sudden, sometimes you go out and play with your friends. We play little, games in the streets and in the backyards, and you definitely get more accustomed to the rules and how it goes. And we got Tommy Huxley here.
Tommy.
Diehard 49ers for life. I don't know who you are, dude, but hit me up on my Twitter and we can talk about it. I don't put just anybody on, I'll be honest with you, but if you were interested, let me know. Hit me up on my Twitter. So this guy, again, for those who don't know, this is Waruna. He's a writer for Sports Illustrated, All 49ers SI, which is an online website for Sports Illustrated for the 49ers portion. And they got a few writers there. Grant Cohn's obviously the main editor. And, he went from being a guy that just came here, never knew what the game of football was. And, lo and behold, 5 years later, he's writing about the sport, which is pretty awesome. So when you first became a 49er fan, was there any player that you said, oh, wow, I like watching this guy, I want to see him score more touchdowns? Who initially instantly became your favorite player when you first started watching football? George Kittle. Why is that?
It was Kittle. I think one thing is the way he plays. Other thing is his charisma, the swagger as a player on the field. He's like the energy that he has. He's like, okay, even every time he gets a first down or after a big play, he has that own celebrations. He gives the energy back to the fans. Everyone, even who are not on the stadium watching the game live, even if you are watching him on the TV, you can feel like his energy is coming through to you. So you are also getting like you are enjoying the game through that guy. So that's why
his enthusiasm is extreme, and it's contagious at the same time. My thing with Kittle is obviously the only thing I don't like, and a lot of people don't like this, is just the fact that as great as he is, and you think he's a strong player because he's so excellent at blocking and he breaks tackles and everything, but yet he has this tendency for some odd reason to get hurt. So kind of sucks with him, but I love having him on the team without a doubt. And there's one more thing, is just that some people say he's not a leader. So I think he has the makings and the tools to become a leader. Maybe he just might have to mature a little bit in that regard. But, so like you said, something about Kittle, he has this gravitating effect, this gravitating appeal to him. So I just don't see how teammates wouldn't gravitate to anything he'd say in the locker room. So I'm not in the locker room. You're not in the locker room, but, the rumor has it that Kittle's not a leader of some sort. Oh, we got some more people in here. Let me say what's up to a few other people. We have George Bailey 2.0. What's up, man? He says the game was a real slugfest, wasn't it? Oh, that game had my heart racing, without a doubt. We got Amin the Dream, subscribe to his channel, says, well, Runa and Bashar, how's it going? And he says, get 49er Might to 1,000 subs. And I'm still trying to get to 300 subs. I don't even know what 1,000 subs is. That's too funny though. Yeah, so you said you liked Kittle when you first started watching the Niners, and obviously, who doesn't like Kittle? Kittle's a pretty awesome player. Was there any early on? Was there like a team or an opposing team or opposing player that you didn't like, or you got irritated or agitated by?
Of course, Seahawks as a team, but I don't know why it happened to me. When I started watching football, I had like three basic rules. I support 49ers, so that's the number one rule. Number two rule is I hate Cowboys. And the third fact or rule is Aaron Rodgers is my favorite football player. So I always went by those three rules. So if Cowboys lose, I would be really happy. I think I used to hate Cowboys more than the Seahawks, but now more I understand the game and the context, I hate Seahawks more.
I'll be honest, I hate Aaron Rodgers.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, I don't know. I might have to link you to the video. I don't know if you've seen it, but when the 49ers first, when Green Bay Packers first drafted Aaron Rodgers on draft day, a local reporter from Channel 5 in the Bay Area, his name's Dennis O'Donnell, he walks right up to Aaron Rodgers. He says, "Oh, are you disappointed that you didn't get drafted by the 49ers?" And he has this smug look on his face, and he's like, "Not as disappointed as the 49ers would be for not drafting me." And from that point on, I just wanted to slap him. And I have the video of it on my Facebook. I can send it to you. But I don't know. Something about Aaron Rodgers just irritates me. The way he talks, the way he acts. Don't get me wrong. He's an excellent player. He's a great player.
Yeah, excellent player. Actually, I wrote an article about it. If 49ers drafted Aaron Rodgers, I don't think it would have worked. Probably they would have gone separate ways. Maybe before Harbour arrived or after that.
You have a good point. And with all due respect, you weren't here, but the team was in complete shambles when we drafted Alex Smith. We were changing offensive coordinators and people on the coaching staff literally every year. I think Alex Smith had like 6 offensive coordinators to start his career off. Yes. It was very disorganized.
17 wide receivers.
Yeah, and the ironic thing is the very first year we had Alex Smith and we drafted him, Mike McCarthy was the offensive coordinator. And keep in mind, the offense was terrible that year. It was horrid. And lo and behold, the most ironic thing about it is Mike McCarthy leaves us after 1 year, after sticking it up as our offensive coordinator, leaves and goes to Green Bay and gets a freaking head coaching job there. I don't know how he got the head coaching job. And, he has the luxury of being the head coach for freaking Hall of Famer Brett Favre. And then, oh, yeah, I have Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre. And, oh, yeah, Aaron Rodgers just won me a Super Bowl. But I think Mike McCarthy is one of the most overrated coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, most probably, yes. I think just to add a point on why do I like Aaron Rodgers is I like that type of players because they have, I think the word is, they have some kind of arrogance, the cockiness. What I do believe is in sports, especially in professional sports, if you want to win championships, if you want to be a consistent winner, you have to have that attitude, a slight arrogance, because nice guys don't always end up winning. Because sometimes you see
nice guys finish last, as they say, right?
Yes. So that's why I like Rodgers. He has that mental attitude. That's why I like Mahomes. They have that attitude. They know they are going to do it. They are going to get it done somehow. They don't care about the opposing team. They respect others when they need to, but on the field, they think like, okay, when I'm here, I'm the king. I rule it.
But would you say Aaron Rodgers' confidence has gone a little too far because he had those run-ins with the front office and whatever coaches? Like, I get what you're saying. It's great to have that certain level of confidence because, for example, Michael Jordan, I would never say, hey, don't be confident if I was his coach because Michael Jordan was a freaking legend and he was so dominant. Yes. And you can see that certain guys at that position will have that type of confidence. I just don't like it when it gets in the way of the locker room or the front offices or the coaches. But, hey, I'm not going to argue. Aaron Rodgers is an awesome player, and he's the guy that we probably should have drafted. But we might have messed it up, or I'm not sure how he would have handled it because the situation was just so crazy during the Mike Nolan era and also Singletary. Yes. Let me see what's up to Corey Davis. He says, hello, 49er. How you doing, buddy? And let's see what these guys are talking about, who they like and dislike. David McNew says you can add up my dislike for the Cardinals and Rams would not equal my hatred for the Sea Chickens. I'll be honest, even though we barely ever play them, the team that I just hate the most growing up was because it was literally the first team I hated and was the first fan base I constantly engaged in on a regular basis was the Raiders. Because when I went to junior high, it was always like, the Raider fans were so jealous of the Niners because the 49ers, we won the Super Bowl against we won 2 Super Bowls. Again in junior high, boom, we went back-to-back Super Bowls, so we got 4. And the Raiders are just trying to itch and scratch and claw their way. At the time, they had some good players, some great talent, but they weren't finishing the deal. They weren't closing the deal, and the 49ers were, and Raider fans were just so jealous of the 49ers' success back then. I think they kind of still are. And we got, my boy Kenny says, for a 45-year-old lifetime 49er fan, he says, I got to say, Deebo Samuel is fascinating to watch. So glad we got him. I'm glad we got him, too. But again, back to that funny Kittle thing. It's like this explosive, tough, awesome, enthusiastic player that breaks tackles like crazy. And then it's always these knacky injuries. I just wish both of them would find a way to eliminate that because they would both be 2 completely unstoppable forces in this league.
Yeah. I think part of the reason is that the way this team designed to play, the play calls and everything, you can't play these players, Kittle and Deebo, as regular players on any other team because Kittle has to block. Kittle has to play physical yards after the catch because Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't throw deep. So he doesn't let you get open like Kelsey with Mahomes. Same thing with Deebo. So if you have to get the maximum out of Deebo, you have to use him as a hybrid player, as a running back as well as receiver. So I think that if Deebo was on a team like, let's say, Seahawks with Russell Wilson, he would have get open and score more touchdowns. So I think that's part of the reasons we are giving them. I feel like we are kind of overusing these players. That's part of the reasons contributing to these injuries.
Great point, because obviously, look, we're using Deebo as a running back. I mean, I love it, the fact that he's getting those huge explosive plays. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't want our number one receiver in that type of danger being used as a running back that frequently. Once in a while, it's okay. So we got Warowski says Dallas Cowboys are the most hated because of their fan base clowns. That's the thing with me and the Raider fans. It's mainly the fan base because that's the fan base I grew up going back and forth with. And one of my really good friends growing up in my neighborhood was a Raiders fan, and my neighbor that lived right behind me that would come over to our house every day, he's a Raiders fan. So it was always me and my brother going back and forth with those 2 guys, and just everybody I went to school with. It's just it's a long history with me and Raiders fans. We got David McNew says it was the crowd in Seattle cheering Navarro Bowman's knee injury and throwing beers at him while being carted off the field. No class. You know what, man? I have cousins who grew up and were born and raised in Seattle, and they're born into being Seahawks fans. I get it, but in general, man, those fans who were at that game when we played them and Bowman was hurt, that was classless and disgusting and beyond words. I can't even describe how poor, distasteful that was. That was just terrible. And I don't know if you know about this, but Tommy Huxley says the Fred Warner injury does sound serious. Do you know anything about that? I didn't research it.
So basically, they say Warner and Deebo both will get MRI scans tomorrow or day after. I can't exactly remember. Mm-hmm. So Warner might have a hamstring. Deebo has a groin injury. Yeah, it sounds scary, but at this point, I'm really worried whether we are going to miss Deebo. I mean, no disrespect to Fred Warner, but I think we can survive without Fred Warner for, I don't know, maybe a couple of games or whatever it is. But without Deebo, it would be really difficult for our offense to operate because we are designed and we need Deebo there just to get this team going forward.
So today's game kind of got off to a rocky start because we saw the Jimmy special, as I like to call it, where Jimmy just throws an easy, it looks like it'll be a simple pass. And next thing you know, it's just a gifted interception to the opposing team. So instead of the Philly special, we got the Jimmy special. I forgot who picked it off, but obviously the freaking Vikings.
Number 22, Harrison Smith.
There you go. That safety. They're saying he's one of the better safeties in the league. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So they got off to a quick 7-0 start, and And I was pretty frustrated at that point. It's like, oh great, it's going to be one of those catch me up games where we're playing from behind, but speaking of Debo, obviously the running game starts working with Mitchell. Mitchell's getting big yards. Elijah Mitchell, the excellent rookie running back, and then Debo gets that really, really nice touchdown on a run, on a little outside sweep.
Yes.
So, anything you want to add to that as far as on the beginning of the game after we tied it 7-7?
I was a bit worried about at that time, especially when Jimmy threw that interception. Not just the interception, because he threw some passes high and over. So he was just like trying to settle down. Probably about 3 to 4 passes. I mean, it was nowhere near the target. So I was like, okay, what's going on? Then the interception. Then I tweeted out even after the first half, if Jimmy, I think probably when we scored, made it 7-7. If Jimmy can calm down, we have a chance to win this game. Jimmy just needs to calm down and play the game without turning the football over. That's the only thing you have to do. Just don't do anything stupid. Just play the game where you are supposed to play. Then we can win the game. So I think that's exactly what happened, because we turned over the football once and they turned over the football twice. So we had a +1 end of the day. So we had a +1 turnover rate. So we used both their turnovers into our advantages. I think first one we scored a touchdown, second one we scored a field goal. So those things help. So that's the only thing Jimmy has to do. Let the other members around you, the other players around you, to carry you, but make sure that you don't do any mistakes. Jimmy has to be just play as Jimmy Garoppolo, meaning that he's not a bad quarterback, but he's not excellent either. He's just average quarterback. So if he just can play within himself, I think that's the word. If he can play within himself, he can help win games with this team.
Yeah. Watching the game and then looking at the stat line afterwards, I honestly thought that Kirk Cousins had piled on way more yards than he actually did. And it's funny because if you look at the stat line, if you're just looking at stats alone, you would think that Jimmy G and Kirk Cousins played the same exact game. But in reality, they didn't. I mean, it's just Cousins had some really nice effective throws down the field at one point. And I was worried early in the game. I was definitely worried. And before going into the game, I was worried because you have Adam Thielen, you have Justin Jefferson, some pretty well-known receivers in the NFL. And then who are corners? We got Mosley, who's completely lackadaisical. I can't stand the guy one bit. I don't know about you, but I just think he's a horrible starting cornerback. And Josh Norman, who used to be really, really good at one point, a la Richard Sherman. We all know what goes on with him. I'll be honest, though. There was a play where he got pass interference. I think it was in the second half on Jefferson. I didn't think it was PI. I'm not trying to be a homer, but it didn't look like pass interference to me.
I would say it's a fair call, but there were some notes that I written down. During that, the big gain Adam Thielen got wide open. Norman missed the coverage. Then there were multiple situations that Norman just gave it up. Then he came back and made the tackle. So what I do believe is Josh Norman is a liability in this team, because he can give up a game anytime. I mean, there are a couple of players I see as liabilities on this team, the senior or veteran players. Josh Norman is a one player. I'm not sure which game he is going to cost us in the future. Then Robbie Gould. He's a liability on this team. He missed that field goal. It was 42 yards. If we kicked that field goal, we would have been 37-26. Luckily, their kicker missed the 1-point conversion earlier. That made them 20-20. I think then it was 20-31. So that's why they decided to go for 2 points. So they missed that 2-point conversion. If not, they would have been like 28-34. That situation. And the last drive, we were lucky not to get a PI penalty on defense. If we got something like that, I don't know. Green Bay game, that happened. We were unlucky. Rogers did the rest. So that could have been happened. So two players, Josh Norman. Robbie Gould does not get too much attention, but that's the one player. I really do believe that 49ers have to move on after this season.
He is so overpaid. I did not want him to get that big truck contract when they gave it to him, but they did. I was just so irritated when that happened. We also want to say what's up to a couple people in the chat. We got Darwin Gonzalez, who I know from Hawkator TV. What's up, dude? How you doing? Warowski says, asking Jimmy to not do something stupid is asking for a lot. I've been biting my tongue. I took a break from this channel, but when I was on here, I took a bit of a break from ragging on Jimmy G or whatever, and now that he's winning games, as they say, I was like, okay, I'm going to be nice to the guy. I'm going to take it easy, but you got to call a spade when it is what it is. Elias Lopez says, what's up, Bash? How you doing, dude? And back to Josh Norman. This reminds me of Josh Norman because Kenny says, I love seeing our defense punch the ball out and creating turnovers. Now, as bad as Josh Norman is in coverage, and the way you mentioned that confidence and that arrogance that Aaron Rodgers has, Josh Norman has that, but he's just not that good anymore. But he brings it to the table. He does bring a certain toughness to the table, and he's very aggressive, and the way he punches the ball out is really nice to see, and I'm hoping our young guys can follow suit and learn from him because we're finally starting to create turnovers, force turnovers for the most part. When there is a loose ball in this game, we saw it happen multiple times. How about Aziz, man? What do you think about Aziz this game? I love what I saw from him.
Yes, I mean, it's fantastic because he looked like stepped up probably 2-3 gears of his game because he is playing really good football. I don't think we expected him to be this good at the beginning of the season because everyone was talking about Fred Warner. Okay, it's Warner, so he's the best middle linebacker in the football. We paid him, so this is going to be, I don't know, Fred Warner squad the year that we are going to have double the performance. But I think Warner, I don't think Warner played badly this year, but we didn't get the same output or the level of playing up to the expectation. But I think today, the Algeria, the way he played, it's fantastic. I was really impressed because he made two crucial plays. One thing is that interception. I think then again, I think I wrote down my notes. Okay, he's the one who recovered the fumble.
Pick six. Yeah, the fumble recovery is the interception.
Yes, that he recovered the fumble, yes. And unfortunately, Dalvin Cook got injured.
Yeah, I felt bad when he got injured, but I was just like, everybody was gathered around like it was a funeral, and I'm like, hold up, wait. Trey Sermon got carted off the field early in the game, and I did not see the same reaction. Our whole team has been injured, at certain points of the game, and I didn't see the whole squad just stop. But it is what it is. I hope he has a speedy recovery. And what we got? Oh, we got Adam right here. Good buddy. Mine says hecka late checking in. By what up, Bash? And then he says, good win today for sure. Where's the Jimmy haters at this evening? Okay. I think people need to pump the brakes, all right? Because do people really, I don't know if he's being funny, if he's being serious, but do people really have this notion that Jimmy G just carried the team on his shoulders with all his brute strength and said, okay, guys, I'm going to pick up the slack for everybody else and I'm going to carry the team on my shoulders and we're going to get this W today? I think Jimmy, like you mentioned earlier, as long as he's not turning the ball over, as long as he can play within the frame of the game, we can possibly win games. Now, we still have to run the ball or be committed to the run. It can't be something where we have Jimmy drop back to pass 40 times a game. Nothing that ridiculous. And we saw it today. I mean, there were multiple times, even on short passes, where passes were completely high and behind receivers. I'm talking about passes where you just dump it off and throw it to Elijah Mitchell or whoever out in the flat or short little passes, and they weren't that impressive. But at times Jimmy G will make the plays. It's the weirdest thing with that guy. He's very Jekyll and Hyde-ish. Now his good side doesn't mean that he's going to start airing out and start throwing for 400 yards and you'll see 80-yard touchdown passes, but. We got good enough receivers to catch certain passes in certain parts of the field where if they get a little 12-yard pass here, 15-yard pass here, they'll turn up the jets and run up the field for about 8 or 10 more yards, so.
Yeah, that's true. I think the answer that I can give to this Jimmy Garoppolo argument, let's just go back in time, go back to the preseason and alter the scenarios a bit. Let's say Matthew Stafford agreed to come to 49ers instead of going to LA Rams, and Jimmy Garoppolo goes to Detroit Lions, right? How many wins do you think Jimmy Garoppolo would have as the starting quarterback of Detroit Lions by now? Their record up to now, I believe it's 10 and 1 drawn game or 9 and 1. I think it's 10 and 1 with Jared Goff. 0, 10 and 1. So that's correct. So do you think Jimmy Garoppolo would have a better record than that? I think maybe he would have won a couple of games with Lions, but nothing more than that. Because the situation is, it got highlighted. It's due to Shanahan's fault, I think. Things that we have talked over and over again. When Jimmy is not there, the other quarterbacks were not good enough. Good enough in the sense, the reason is this: Jimmy Garoppolo, as I said, he's not the worst quarterback in the league, but he's not the best either. Which means he's probably like in the rank of, on his best day, he would be like in the 15th, or I mean average, he's like the 20th best quarterback in the league, probably top 20. But the other guys we had, like CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, these guys are like not even in the first
They're
50
like
if you
they're like
rank
top 100 quarterbacks.
top
Those guys.
100 quarterbacks.
You're
Exactly.
like,
Because
oh, when Jimmy was hurt, those guys were playing and they didn't win games.
yes, exactly. Because when you see guys like Colt McCoy playing, and you're like, okay, what the hell Kyle Shanahan did with especially sticking with CJ Beathard. So he didn't have I mean, proper backup quarterback who can come at least not win, uh, not to give you like 10 and 6 season, but at least win you 8 games. Mike Tomlin did that when he did not have Big Ben. He went with Mason Rudolph and other guys. He still came up with the 8 and 8 season. That's a good coach for you, because they plan everything and they have some kind of a decent backup that you can execute your playbook and get you some kind of wins, because there are every year you have at least 4 to 5 games. If you are a good team that you are coming up against some bad teams, or teams that are rebuilding, so if you are good enough, even with a backup quarterback, you can win these games. But Kyle Shanahan did not do that, so I think that's part of the reason that Jimmy Garoppolo gets hyped, and the national media won't help either, because Jimmy Garoppolo is, end of the day, he's kind of a poster boy. He is just not the franchise face of the 49ers. He's kind one of the like top 5 faces in terms of quarterbacks, the faces of NFL. So national media hype him as well. So they don't go to the root levels, try to analyze his game, what other players around him doing, the yards after the catch and everything. So it's so he gets so his performance what do you call gets blown out of proportions. Even today, he's having an okay game. People think, okay, Jimmy got us this win. Probably, of course, it is not. So I think that is part. It's combination of multiple reasons. Getting into the thinking level that okay, Jimmy Garoppolo is the savior, that he is doing everything on his own. But if he is that good, I'll tell you, I'll tell this to Jimmy fans: fire Kyle Shanahan immediately, because that guy spent 3 first-round picks to draft a replacement. If you think Jimmy Garoppolo is that good, go there, riot or picket or protest or do whatever you have to get rid of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, because they betrayed your quarterback. That's all I had to say.
They betrayed him like Star Wars, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. I don't know. I don't know why I was thinking about that movie. Oh man, it's too funny. Okay, so David McNew says Jimmy G's cap hit isn't worth his production. I don't hate him, but being a longtime Niner fan, I expect more than what he gives us. I don't see Jimmy G coming back. We have to re-sign certain players. We have to fill a lot of holes. We don't have first round draft picks for the next 2 seasons because of the Trey Lance situation. And I see Jimmy G getting traded after this year. That's why they're completely committed to Jimmy G being the starter at this point in time and trying to make it to the playoffs with him. And at one point, I was thinking Jimmy G didn't really have as much trade value as other people were thinking, but I was having this conversation with a few people within the past few weeks that this upcoming quarterback class in 2022 isn't what it was originally cracked up to be. So, people were trying to say that the upcoming quarterback. Some people were trying to say it was going to be better than this Trey Lance and Justin Fields quarterback class. And I think it would probably be a bit weaker because a lot of those quarterbacks are falling on their faces, and they were supposed to be first round draft picks. So maybe I think it's only 1 or 2 of the guys are expected to go in the first round. So because of that, teams are going to get desperate. Want an experienced, quarterback who they know can do certain things very well. He's not going to exactly, light up the league or take the league by storm by any stretch of the imagination, but he is a serviceable veteran quarterback at the end of the day. So there will be suitors for Jimmy G. Oh, this is a funny one because he says the Panthers will trade for Jimmy G. My prediction. Well, the funny thing is they traded and gave up all those picks for Sam Darnold, right? And that hasn't worked out for them. I honestly thought Sam Darnold would be a little bit better leaving the Jets, and I did like his skill set with his strong arm and his mobility, but he doesn't look too great on the Panthers, and they went as far as to bring Cam Newton back, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's true. The thing is, I'm really not sure what kind of a draft pick that 49ers expect in return for Jimmy. The reason is this. Are they expecting a first round pick? I don't think so. You have to look what Alex Smith got for his trade. I mean, the Chiefs got for Alex Smith. Alex Smith got 3rd rounder plus another player. I can't remember the name who they got in return from Washington in return for 3rd rounder and in that deal. So Alex Smith came off. Alex Smith was traded after, I think, probably 3 or 4 successful seasons at Chiefs. I think he went to playoffs. I mean, he didn't get far enough into the Super Bowl level, but still, he was a good quarterback. Alex Smith was a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. So I'm not really sure what kind of a trade value Jimmy Garoppolo still has. And the other reason is this. Now, yes, the next draft class, you have guys like Malik Willis, Spencer Rattler. Not sure how they are going to stack up, especially compared to the quarterbacks that we had this year in the draft class. But then again, you have to consider the situation, what Lions are going through. Lions got a quarterback who went to Super Bowl 3 years ago, 2018. Lions got a quarterback, Jared Goff. He had a winning record better than Jimmy Garoppolo. He's with Sean McVay. Now everyone is, it's like for every argument they were throwing that stat. 22-8. Jimmy Garoppolo has a 22-8 winning record with 49ers. Jared Goff had a winning record of 24-8 with Sean McVay. Now, when he left to Lions, his record was 42-20. So, and basically, he's winning 66% of his games with Sean McVay. But look what has happened. Before Sean McVay comes to Rams, his record was as a rookie 0-7. Now it's 0-10, which means in 18 games, his record without Sean McVay is 0-17-1. So if you consider that scenario, who is going to pay $27 million for Jimmy Garoppolo to be your starting quarterback? What's the difference between Jared Goff and Jimmy Garoppolo? He might be slightly better than Jared Goff, but is he way better quarterback than Jared Goff? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the thing about the whole idea of trying to trade Jimmy G is the whole salary issue. How's that going to play out? Do the 49ers get in a position where they have to buy out some of his salary in order to make a trade even possible? So they're definitely that is that factor with the whole money behind his contract. We got some more comments in here. He says, Adam says, fire Banana Shanahan if he doesn't make the playoffs. I've been saying the coaches need to be upgraded. Okay, well, I mean, I'll be honest. We're stuck with Shanahan. They gave him that huge extension last year, so he's not going to be going anywhere probably for the next 2 years, in my opinion. Some people have the assumption. I know Nick from Nothing But Niner says this all the time that Shanahan's clock starts kicking when Trey Lance becomes the official starter. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case with them. So we got one guy. We got Adam saying Trey Lance is going to be a bust. This guy just hates Trey. No matter what I tell him, he hates Trey Lance. I just accept the fact that I can't convince the guy. Okay, then Tommy Huxley says Trey Lance is next Josh Allen. We're gonna find out next year. I'm telling you, Trey Lance, Jimmy's gonna be gone next year, so we're gonna find out what Trey Lance is. I obviously see a lot of hope in Trey Lance. I see a lot of optimism. I think he's got exceptional work ethic. He already knows the whole playbook. And I'll tell you this, a lot of 49er fans don't want to hear this. The reason why he's not playing is because he's not good or he's not ready or none of that. Throw all that at them. The only reason why Trey Lance is playing is because Kyle Shanahan has somebody up in his ear basically telling him you have to play Jimmy until we trade him. And if we're going to be paying him that much, Jimmy G's going to be on the field. And that's how I look at it. Until Jimmy G gets injured this year, Jimmy G's going to be the starting quarterback, and that's it. Doesn't mean that he's so much better than Trey Lance, and God forbid we put Trey Lance in the field because he's going to be pure garbage. I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, that's true, because the thing is now the situation has really turned around, especially because that Trey Lance's bust argument coming up with the success of Mac Jones as well, because Mac Jones is doing really well. I watched the game today. I mean, he is doing pretty well for a rookie quarterback, especially. But the thing is now, you have to look the defense that Patriots have. I checked today. I believe I didn't check the entire NFL, but in AFC they have given fewest amount of points per game. So I think for 11 games, they have given under 200 points for a position. That means less than 20 points per game. So you are making the life easier for your rookie because your defense is so tough, so good. So they are not going to give away so much points. So the rookie doesn't have to do too much. You have experienced guys around you, especially the way Kendrick Bourne is playing, the way New England is using him. So it helps Mac Jones. So Mac Jones' success is in a way reflecting on Trey Lance. People think, okay, Trey Lance is best, but at the same time, when you think about it, Kyle Shanahan could have done the same thing because he did this with RG3. RG3 won, I believe, 10 games or 11 games in his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken. So, something around that. So that's what we expected before the season began. We thought, okay, during the preseason, if Trey Lance is to play, he doesn't have to pass too much. We thought like around 20 to 25 passes would be the perfect number for him. That's what Jimmy is doing right now. Even today, I think he threw around 25, maybe. I can't remember the exact number. I remember against the Rams, he only threw for 19 times. The very next week, it was 24. I think today it was 25, 26, something. Basically, it's around the 25, the margin. So and again, the time the 49er offense stay in the field, today it was like 49ers spent 36 minutes on the offense opposed to Vikings 24 minutes. Last game was the same against the Rams. Against Rams, I think it was 40 minutes to 20 minutes, something like that. So our offense, the run game, gives enough breathing space to defense. So when you can figure out things like that, it's the best situation to rookie quarterback to come in. So he has enough support from his team, from his coach to succeed. So that's what we expected. So I don't think we will ever find out because Trey Lance was never given that chance to do that in his first year. And but having said that, everything, even though Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm still not sure what 49ers will exactly do next year, whether they are actually going to move away from Garoppolo or, as Jed said at the very beginning, Jimmy is going to spend his 2022 year on 49ers as well. Not sure about that, but if Jimmy Garoppolo leaves, if Trey Lance is to play next year, I do not expect him to be an immediate success. The reason being, next year we are going to have 6 divisional games: Rams, Cardinals, and Seahawks. Not going to be easy. Then you have 4 games against AFC West: Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers. Those are not going to be easy games. So I believe probably it will take 2023 if Trey Lance plays in 2022. Maybe 2023 or 2024 would be the year we get to judge who the Trey Lance really is, whether he's a bust or a successful quarterback in NFL. So he will take time, given the schedule and the division he is in. I think it will take time for him to develop and eventually give us some time to judge him correctly.
Well, in the NFL, I mean, it's the timetable for anybody to really be deemed as a bust or as a good player, so to speak. Usually, it's 3 years of actually playing. So, we'll see where that goes. My thing about Mac Jones is, though, a lot of people disagree with me on this. I don't care because I've seen it happen already with Bill Belichick. But in reality, the only Bill Belichick quarterback who's proven to have sustained success is Tom Brady. All those other quarterbacks that Belichick has, he'll trade them off or they'll go somewhere else and they'll do good with Belichick. But once they leave Belichick, it's not that great. I mean, Jimmy's had a pretty shaky career. Let's be honest with the Niners. It's not like Jimmy steps into the 49ers and where he's this amazing top 10 quarterback. During this season, even before the season, a lot of those rankings had Jimmy G ranked as like 22nd in the league, 23rd, 20th if you're being, generous. But, we had Matt Castle. I can go on. Who's the other guy? I know they traded. He was having success on the Patriots, and the Patriots. He was doing good on the Patriots, and Patriots were able to get him to be traded to the Colts because the Colts were desperate. I forgot his name, but it was one quarterback the Patriots had and sent him off to the Colts. He's no longer on the Colts anymore. Jacoby Brissett. He's another one of those guys. These quarterbacks, they love playing well under Belichick. They look so good under Belichick, but once they leave and go off everywhere else, it's not the same. So it wouldn't shock me one bit if Mac was on some other team, Mac Jones, if he was on the Jets or if he was on the Jags, that you wouldn't see this instant success.
Yes. Yeah,
and
that's exactly true.
Kenny says Jimmy G is 100% gone this offseason. We need draft picks bad now. Yeah, who knows what we could get for him. I mean, if we get like a second rounder, I'd be doing jumping jacks. Maybe they get a third rounder. Who knows? I mean, it's so fluid in the NFL with trades. On paper, you can say yes, a quarterback who produces this many yards and who produces this many wins while they're the starting quarterback usually warrants this type of draft pick. But it's all about catching that stupid GM on a bad day and on a good day, let's say, and boom, the stock for that person, we end up getting way more compensation than we'd expect, what we normally expect from what we see on paper. That's just how it is. It's so fluid. It's not like this thing that's set in stone where we can only get this amount of compensation for whatever player. We see it happen all the time in the league. And this guy, Adam's not convinced that. Adam says we'll miss Jimmy G when he's gone. Okay, why does Jimmy G have to constantly rely on the run game? This is Jimmy G in the clutch. Take the handoff, hand it off to Elijah Mitchell. Take the handoff, hand it off to Debo. Clutch moment, throw a short pass to Debo or Ayuk. Come on, that's like Elijah Mitchell, for example. Look at the stat line that he had. He had the ball 27 times. 4.9 yards a carry, which is great, 133 yards. The run game was excellent, but it's like, and we barely won. We won off the skin of our teeth. In reality, we should have put way more points on the board. I'm tired of us when the defense sets us up for a really good touchdown in the red zone, and then all of a sudden we're stuck because our quarterback keeps making these bonehead mistakes, and we're stuck. Oh no, now we're gonna have to kick a field goal. Every other team in the league, when at their fucking 20 and 10 yard line, scores fucking touchdowns in those situations. You're telling me with the fucking play caller that we have to resort to bullshit field goals all the fucking time? If Jimmy G's so fucking good, why aren't we fucking scoring touchdowns in those situations? We see this week after fucking week after fucking week after fucking week. All the other teams score touchdowns in those situations, and we don't. I'm sick of it.
I think I have a one answer to that. I mean, just not trying to get personal with Adam, but in general, the Jimmy Garoppolo argument. No matter how much stats and everything that you are going to bring it up, it doesn't make Jimmy Garoppolo a Pro Bowl level or a great quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo would be still the Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, since you have said everything, I mean, for this Jimmy Garoppolo argument, I'm just saying, referring to Adam, just think about the situation that I brought you earlier. Just take a time and think about it, Jared Goff situation, and answer me. Do you think that if Jimmy Garoppolo played with Detroit Lions, would he have at least 5-5 record? That's the only thing that...
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he wouldn't. But yeah. Then everybody's going to make the response, oh, no, but nobody wins in Detroit. Nobody wins in Detroit. And it is kind of true. Nobody does win in Detroit. But, if Tom Brady goes to Detroit, or if Aaron Rodgers or whoever else that is top 5 or top 10 or elite does go to Detroit, they will be better. Jared Goff, I mean, I like his arm, and that's about it. It's just I'm not a big Jared Goff fan to begin with.
Yeah, I think... not, and one final answer for this whole argument, not trying to be disrespectful, just to sake of the argument. Wrap some piece of shit in a paper wrapper, it's still piece of shit. Put that in a gold container, it's still piece of shit. Whatever the outcome, the wrapper does not mean what's inside. That's all I have to say.
So let me... I got pretty bad, but I'm sorry, man.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I just hate seeing us resort to stupid field goals when the defense forces a turnover and it sets us up for a damn touchdown. And I see every other team in the league punching in the end zone, and here we are. Oh no, we can't throw the ball to the end zone with Jimmy G because he's inaccurate and doesn't know how to throw outside the numbers. Let's have Robbie Gould kick this freaking 20-yard field goal that he ends up missing, and we're paying him $20 million a year to miss fucking 20-yard field goals. I'm sick of it. It's bullshit. We deserve better as 49er fans. I watched Steve Young and Joe Montana play. I don't want to see this fool's gold bullshit of Jimmy G anymore. I'm sick of it. It's bullshit. If Jimmy G was an ugly motherfucker, nobody would give a flying fuck about him. I'm telling you right now. Nobody would say that he's really good. Nobody would say, look at his record. His record is dictated by how many times he hands off the ball and how good his defense plays. Fucking look up the stats. If he didn't have a fucking good running game to go off of, he wouldn't be shit.
Exactly. That's the reason, because you need a quarterback that can elevate your team. When your defense has a bad day, when your coach has a bad day, he needs to step up and carry the team. How many times are we going to see that from Jimmy Garoppolo? How many times have we seen Jimmy Garoppolo doing that? That's a problem. So that's what I'm saying. Okay. If Kyle can get a decent enough quarterback, Kyle can still produce this number of wins with any quarterback. I mean, let's be honest. How many quarterbacks can deliver the win today that 49ers achieved? I mean, there are many quarterbacks who would be just come here and do the same thing like Jimmy. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, he could have done this thing. Probably Sam Darnold could have done the same thing. because they are capable enough, because they are level up than Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard. So that's the difference that you have to. Adam, again, I am pleading. Please try to understand. CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, they are garbage. They are garbage.
They're not NFL quarterbacks. They're not NFL quarterbacks. People are like, oh, well, you guys had C.J. Mullins and Nick Beathard. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, that's the worst argument you could ever bring up.
This,
yeah,
because CJ Beathard and Nick Mullins, if they say they are quarterbacks, then I can be a wide receiver or defensive back or anything in NFL. If you call them quarterbacks, they are not quarterbacks.
No, CJ Mullins. No, it's not CJ Mullins. Nick Mullins. His saving grace was the Raider game. The Raider game. Had he never showed up and played in that Raiders game, nobody would care about Nick Mullins. But I hate the Raiders. Trust me. Nick Mullins shows up in that Raider game. Nobody knows who he is. I just knew he was a practice squatter, and that's about it. Comes in the Raider game, and the play calls were diagnosed perfectly in that game, by the way. People were drawn up wide open, and he delivered. But to say that has been that same quarterback throughout his whole legacy as a 49er is BS, because he'll never be that guy again. He was just a one-trick pony, that one-time thing in that Raider game. That was it. CJ Beathard's got a strong arm. He can't move. He tries to run, but he's slow. He's slow as shit. He has a strong arm, and he's a tough guy. But again, should he have been drafted in the third round of the 2017 draft? I don't think so. I look at CJ and I'm like, he should have been undrafted. The same way Nick Mullins was undrafted. I don't know why we drafted the guy. It was total wasted draft choice. We do draft well in the middle rounds, actually, just not with that pick. But yeah, it's just funny. Let me say what's up to this guy. We don't agree on everything, but he's an awesome guy. Excellent YouTuber, tons of fun to talk to. Whenever I go on his show, we laugh it up like crazy. If he came on my show one time, we laughed it up. And that is Jay in the Bay. What's good? Faithful 9 Empire. It's about that time. It's your boy Jay in the Bay. What's good? I can't do it like him. If you watch his channel, you know how to do it. Yes. How he does it. I love saying that. I don't have a catchy slogan or a catchy phrase. I feel like I'm vanilla, and all these guys come up with all these creative things, and I don't know. But Jay in the Bay, check out his channel. Subscribe to his channel. That's his name right there, Jay in the Bay. One a fun guy to watch. And let's see what Kenny says. Kenny says, I thought we would have went for it on 4th and 2 instead of letting Robbie Gould miss a game-winning field goal. But there's no trust by Kyle that Jimmy can produce. Straight up proof, Jimmy G's and all that. I didn't think they'd go for it. I know once in a while we are aggressive at times, but I just didn't think, in any case, any kicker should make that, honestly, especially if you're paying him what you're paying him. And Robbie Gould throughout his career has actually been a guy who is pretty money in those situations and in those spots of the field, and you would think and assume that he can make it. But I just think ever since we gave Robbie Gould that contract, that he hasn't been the same guy, and I'm sorry, like father time catches up on you. I mean, he's not going to be Robbie Gould. What are we going to keep Robbie Gould till he's 50 and 60 years old just because he had a successful 15 years before that? I mean, it's just this whole notion of keeping Robbie Gould forever is stupid. You don't keep players till they're geriatric or whatever. It's just dumb.
Yeah, that's why I said even earlier that we need to move on from Robbie Gould because he is a liability on this team. There was a comment, like I think Adam brought it out, that Mike Zimmer was saying that Niners always were holding, but God knows how long it took for NFL referees to finally figure out that Nick Bosa is held each and every game. I think they were like, okay, if Nick Bosa is going to be held, you just turn the blind eye. I think last game we had like a couple of holding penalties when Nick Bosa was held against, but 49ers I think had their fair share of luck. Not luck, misfortune when it comes to these holding penalties. I think we did not get that many holding penalties. So Mike Zimmer, if you could not win the game, just shut the F up and go back to Vikings, whatever the hell you are. I don't know where in the country that you live in. Just don't whine just go back, because it's how the game is played. Sometimes you see that, because I mean, we saw what happened in the Super Bowl, right? 2019. I mean, I do not want to complain that we lost because we did not get that holding penalties, but we saw the very next year, Tampa Bay getting all the holding penalties. So it is how it is. So just don't complain, just go back, because I think you have a 6 hours flight. I mean, just whine, just get lost. You lost, and you just get lost.
I wish I could see that conversation with you, Mike Zimmer.
I mean, I mean, I get mad when people complain about it, because they don't complain. I mean, they don't appreciate it when it goes their way, right? Because let's say some penalty goes their way, they would be like, "Oh, referees did an awesome job. They officiated the game brilliantly." They would never say that. But if something goes against them, they would like, "Oh, they did that, they did this, and 49ers got this and that." I mean, just get lost. Just get lost. You
Yeah.
lost that seat.
I know you like to write up notes during the games and when you watch the games. I'm not a good note taker because I'm just such a fan when I watch the games and I'm so emotionally wrapped up to last thing I want to do is have a pen and paper at hand when I'm watching the game. But I know you have your set of notes. Is there anything that we haven't touched on or haven't covered that you want to bring up and you want to touch on?
I mean, that I can't pronounce his name. The Minnesota Vikings kickoff returner,
It's the first
Wanga.
time I've
I
seen him.
believe.
Manwanga. Good, yeah,
Wow.
good.
I mean, that was excellent. That was excellent.
Yeah, he had a really
I
nice
don't.
return.
Yes. So that's something I was just thinking. Okay, why can't 49ers do something like that? Why can't our returners,
Yeah,
just for a change?
Kene Nwangwu. Yeah, I
Yes, the
just read his
one.
name.
Yeah,
I'm assuming I'm saying
it
it
was
right.
great.
Looks pretty phonetic. Yeah, he had a 99-yard kickoff return. Yeah, who was it? Cannon? Was it Terry Cannon? That guy's name, that kick returner. He had that
Trent
big
Cannon.
kick. Fred Cannon. Yeah, he had a big kick return against the
Yes.
Green Bay Packers. He didn't get a touchdown, but it helped us.
Yes.
Yeah, every now and then he'll have an okay return. He has some mistakes along the way too, and then we have Brandon Ayuk as our. I love Brandon Ayuk as a player. Don't get me wrong, and sure, it's great to have him have the
Yes.
ball in his hands. But let's be real, he's just not hasn't had success as a punt returner. Maybe he had one or two. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at something I saw in the chat. He had one or two like
Yes.
decent looking returns, and
Yes.
so I just don't. Hopefully, somebody else picks up the slack with the punt returns. I don't want to see our starting receivers as kickoff returners or punt returners. Almost the same way I don't want to see Debo Samuel get so many routine handoffs. Now, don't get me wrong; it's excellent that Debo gets so many nice yards running the ball on those sweeps. But I just would rather see our running backs get it too. But it just sucks because our running backs are always hurt. Trey Sermon got hurt on special teams today. I was hoping to see more of him. Jeff Wilson Jr. didn't really get as many touches as I thought he would. Unless, I don't know, he's not looking like the same guy as I saw last year. I liked him a lot last year and the year before. Maybe he's rusty physically or mentally. I'm not sure what's the deal with Jeff Wilson Jr., but we're very fortunate with this Elijah Mitchell pick. I'll tell you that right now. A lot of people expected this Sermon to be the main running back or him to step up and be this great rookie sensation, and I'm not losing hope on the guy, but Elijah Mitchell's stepping right in and just doing excellent things. I think he has the most. He tied for the most 100-yard games for a rookie running back in a 49er uniform for a rookie. So he has 4 100-yard games so far this year. So if he gets one more, he breaks the 49er record, which would be nice.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Other than that, I think Hufanga, he needs a special mention.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I
Like
love the
that.
guy. I love watching that guy play.
Yes. So I noted down a couple of times that he made some plays. Then again, Laken Tomlinson, he had 2 holding penalties today. So kind of, I mean, yeah, you're going to give away some holding penalties, but I hope that he can maybe correct it and get better over the time. Anyway, we don't have Mike McGlinchey now, so
Yeah,
I think
with McGlinchey's absence, it's been not too big of a difference. I think I see a little bit difference in the run blocking. I know it's from time to time when they try to run to the right side, it's not as successful, it's not as pretty on certain plays. But In general, it's not so bad. I thought Tom Compton was a horrible offensive lineman, but he's playing, he's out there, and I don't know why they're not playing Jalen Moore. I guess they're just would rather have the experienced veteran out there, even though I think Compton's kind of trash. But again, he's doing a bit better than I thought he would at the same time. I expected him to do a whole lot worse. And Brunskill, who I wasn't really that high on, he's doing okay. I can't hate on the offensive line too much if we're putting up 34 points now. Sometimes we get help from the defense to get those easy scores. And let me see, we got some other. Yeah, so I was mentioning earlier that Jimmy G had some really his ball placement on certain throws are just. I mean, I really went off earlier about the whole Jimmy G thing. I'm not going to apologize for it because it came from the heart. But his throws are really off target sometimes, and I'm talking like little 2-yard, like 5-yard throws, where people are open. And it's not like he has pressure or anything. It's like your average everyday rinky-dinky NFL quarterback would make those throws in their sleep, and here he is struggling on them. Yet that's supposed to be his forte, the short pass. Yet I don't know what's going on with that guy. So let's see what else is going on in the chat. Let's see what else. Oh, this is why I changed my picture. Jay in the Bay says, agreed. The Ayuk show has been a disappointment at a punt returner. I'm a big Ayuk fan though, just like Jay in the Bay is, and hence I switched the picture up. You notice I got Ayuk there on the screen, and that's a picture of me over at Levi's. This guy on Twitter, his name's Get 'em Boy on Twitter. He is an excellent graphic artist. He does these like GTA, Grand Theft Auto type reproductions of people's pictures. He does a lot of stuff for 49er fans, and if you find Get 'em Boy on Twitter, hit him up and he can do something for you, kind of like what he did for me, if you're interested in something like that. I just sent him a picture of mine, and then he just ran with it and just added some creativity to it. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think, but overall, I would say 49ers are playing effective football, meaning that Jimmy is playing the way he's supposed to play. Given that the responsibility he has, he just needs to play the basic football, not not doing any turnovers. I mean, he had one interception, but I'm fine with that end of the day, given that he did not make any mistakes. So he's just doing what he's supposed to do. Then the rest of the team running is working for us. Then Kyle Shanahan is making the adjustments. He's making the play calls and everything. So defense making the turnovers. We have a positive count of turnovers even today. So it's 2 against 1. So we are playing complementary basic football. We are the 6th seed now, so which means we have a really good chance. So if we quickly look at the remaining schedule coming up, we have Seahawks.
Yeah.
That should be a win. Bengals, I'm not so sure. We are playing.
I'm not sure about the Seahawks. They always have our number.
Yeah, but I think if this team needs to be on playoffs, this is a game that they have to win. So I want them to win. I think they have the ability to win this game. The way everything happened, because they lost to Cardinals twice. So this is a game that helps them to get 500 within the division, because they have one more game remaining against the Rams. So they need to win this game. You can't get beaten twice by Seahawks. So then you have Falcons, a game that you can win. Titans, a tricky game, but still I think now you have a chance, given the way that Titans are playing. Then you have Texans and Rams. So probably you have like 3 possible games that you are going to win. Let's say 90% of the times you are going to win against, I believe at this moment, Seahawks, Falcons, Texans are wins. That makes you 9 and 5. And 3 games that can go either way. So if you can take one more win, you are 10 and 7, going to make the playoffs. So I think we have a good chance. So I'm really hopeful. That's what makes me excited.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. But yeah, regardless of who the coach is, regardless of who the quarterback is, from the Harbaugh era till now, playing Seattle has not been fun. And it really pisses me off, especially when we go in Seattle and try to beat them now. Hopefully we can finally end that rough streak of losing to Seattle, because Russell Wilson, he's an excellent, don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson's an excellent quarterback, excellent player. But there's been times where Seattle just hasn't been the real Seattle team, and they've fallen to the other teams in the league, and then lo and behold, we play them, and all of a sudden Seattle wakes up and acts like they're the best team in the league all of a sudden, like it's the LOB era. So we definitely need to change that, Hopefully we do in Seattle. I'll be really impressed if we win. Even though they're not a good team, I'll just be impressed with the simple fact that we win in Seattle if we do so. Let me see what's up to a couple other people. Some late people jumped in, or maybe I missed them earlier. But here we go. We got CG Ruthless Sports. I'm subscribed to his channel, Big 49er content creator on YouTube. We got Steve-O Supremo. What's up, man? How you doing? Says Bengals and Bills are wild cards, LOL. David Yang, I like to call him David Yin Yang Twins, says Jimmy will never be the reason you win games, but Jimmy will always keep you in games. Jimmy can play certain, again, I was saying it way early before I got pissed off. Within certain constraints of the game, with a certain framework, Jimmy G can be a decent quarterback, and depending on who we play, yes, we can possibly win games in that regard. Now, okay, hang on, I'm not reading this message. Oh yeah, no problem, not a problem. Okay, I just got your message now. Okay, I thought that was old. We've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. Usually I do hours, so I'm almost done reading. Let me just catch up with these last comments. David McNews says, Adam Figueroa, we've been in the dark ages since the Yorks took over 22 years ago. 6 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowl losses, unacceptable. Not every team makes it to the Super Bowl, so you can kind of hang your hat and say a moral victory. Oh wow, we made it to the Super Bowl, but we just should have capitalized. It's unfortunate. Next time we go, we definitely got to win. I have a strong feeling Lance takes us back to the Super Bowl. Record this, screenshot it, do whatever you want, and hold on to it and make a tweet about it and say I'm stupid, I'm dumb. This guy Bashar says Trey Lance is going to win Super Bowls for the 49ers or take us back to the Super Bowl. Go ahead. I just see it happening. That guy is so determined. If you know his whole story about what he went through to get to where he's at now, it's hard to deny the guy. And with all that said, he just works so damn hard. He's a bookworm with the playbook. Yeah, he's super athletic at the same time. He's so determined. I just think he does everything right. I can't put a ceiling on him and say, hey, I think sky's the limit for his success. I really do. I think the only thing that would stop him would be an injury. So we got some of these comments are just making me too laugh. Okay. So here, this is the funny one. So Adam Figueroa says, I trust Jed York. Also don't count those stats on Jed York when he took over. There's been some good and bad with the Yorks. I don't hate them. I'm not on the extreme hate level as everybody else is. It's just that Eddie DeBarlo, we were so lucky and blessed to have him, and we were spoiled at the same time. You're not going to run across Eddie DeBarlos every single day of the week, and it's not like, hey, we just fired Jed York and fire. No, well, we can't fire them. They'd have to sell the team, obviously. The Yorks would have to sell the team, and it's not like, hey, it's a given that we sell the team, and oh yeah, these are the next Eddie DeBarlos, and it's easy, and we win 10 Super Bowls in a row. Now, the only exception I would make, though, if the Warriors ownership, Joe Lacob, I'm a big Warriors fan, by the way, if you haven't noticed yet. If the Warriors ownership stepped up and said, hey, we have interest in buying the 49ers, my eyes would get big. I'd be like, okay, that's one ownership group that I would not shy away from, and not, I'd actually have some expectations, like, okay, because I know those guys mean business. But still nothing's a guarantee. I'm going off the other. Let me see what's up to Richard Carrera right here. It says, what's up, Bashar? I'm late to the party, but glad to join. I actually do have to wrap things up. We were supposed to only be on here for an hour. It's an hour and 19 minutes. But the good news is I took about 3 weeks off. I wasn't planning on taking 3 weeks off. Some extreme family stuff got in the way, and I wasn't able to schedule guests. I wasn't able to do shows like I thought I would. And if I did have free time, it would be at these weird random times that I never know I'd have free time until it ran across me. So I wasn't able to say, hey, let's do a show, within the next 2 minutes. But I am back on here. I'm going to have a whole lot more guests lined up. I am really happy for everybody that hopped in the chat. I'm happy that the 49ers won. I went on a little rant earlier, but don't get me wrong. I'm still happy that we won. I'm not, I know that Jimmy G is going to be the quarterback for the rest of the season. I already know that. The 49ers have plans to trade him away after the end of the season anyways. I'm not saying Trey Lance. I love Trey Lance, but I'm not saying Trey Lance is going to play and be the quarterback right now this season, barring injury. Let me see what's up to Jay Mangle. Jay Mangle 3, what's up, dude? Long time no see. Says great show, fellas. Appreciate it, man. I think I pretty much shouted everybody out. Oh, David McNew says Bashar stayed up late to watch this great show. Go 49ers. I have no idea where you live, David, but hey, man, shout out to you for staying up late. And Adam says shout out to J.D. Work. Okay, so Waruna writes for all 49ers for Sports Illustrated website. And go ahead, and the floor is yours. If any things you want to say before we go?
First of all, thank you very much for having me. I think we've been trying to do this. We've
been talking about doing this for like 2 months or something.
Yes.
If you don't know, you have no idea what goes on behind the scenes before I bring a guest on.
Yes. So finally, we got to do it. So thanks for that. And then I'm writing for Sports Illustrated. So if you have time, just check my articles. And we are doing something else as well. Genuine Draft podcast. So this is something.
The Genuine Draft podcast. I should put the link. Okay, really quick. Sorry to cut you out, but I do have Waruna's social media links in the chat. I will put the Genuine Draft podcast in the link in a minute as well. So go ahead. Just want people to know that Waruna's information is definitely on the video description of this video.
So follow us at Genuine Draft _SF. That's our Twitter handle. So we talk about football, cricket. If you're interested in cricket, rugby, anything, we talk about that. And 49ers and all other NFL teams. We cover all 32 NFL teams. Just casual chats about football and everything. So if any of you guys have time, just follow us, give us some support. So other than that, Go Niners. Enjoyed the win today. So I believe we are on our way to playoffs. So it's going to be some exciting 2 months. Most probably we have
Thanks to the
knows
Saints losing.
What's going to happen.
Yeah. Thanks to the Saints losing, it did help our playoff chances, and we're starting to win games.
Panthers lost.
What's that?
Carolina Panthers, they lost. Then who else lost today? Who lost to Giants? I think there was today. Giants did beat. So there were so many good results today. Giants did beat.
The Giants lost. The Giants beat the Eagles.
Yes, so that was good for us because now that
helps us. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So there were very good results today for us. So I think if we can keep doing this week in and week out, probably 10-7, maybe 11-7. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I was saying 10-7 before the season started, so I wasn't expecting injuries at certain positions. We're fighting through it though, so it's other teams have injuries too. It's not just us, so we'll see. Again, thank you for Waruna for coming on. It's been a long time since. We had this conversation, me trying to get you on, and things were getting in the way. So I finally got you on here, which is good. And hey, I'm going to be doing more roundtable shows where we have groups of people talking. I'd like to get you on in those, get you involved when we have multiple members on here. Again, shout out to the chatters. A lot of fun, a lot of crazy, a lot of funny, all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the chat, more so than usual. But with that said, I'm glad you guys were here to watch 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. I'm out of here. See you, Waruna. Peace.
Okay.
Come on, 49er fans, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick real quick.
49er mind.
Yeah, yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er minded.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er minded.